Hello everybody, and welcome back to our Farming Simulator 25 map guide. Today we're going to be taking a look at Portugal South. But before that, this video is brought to you by David and Toten Farmer. Thank you for being farm barons. So the Portugal South map you can find it at the farmingsimulator.com website or the in-game downloadable content menu. And as of the 1.0 release, this map is available for all platforms. Now, this map does have a required mod, and that required mod is going to be the feed mixing plants. After we factor in the size of the map itself and the required mod, we're looking at a total download size of 757 megabytes. Let me read you some of the description. This map is based in the southern region of Portugal with original relief. This map brings to its own space marked for factories. There are 3 points of sale. There are more than that. 26 fields of various sizes, and also the farm space for farmhouse, silos, and sheds. Let's jump back over here to the map itself and take a look at the PDA. So taking a look at the PDA, you can see we start out by owning a very large portion of the center of this map. That's going to be our starting farm and our starting farmlands, should we choose to own the farm at the start. We start by owning farmland ID 36. That is going to be the main farm buildings, as well as a bit of forested area around. And we've got a nice lake hidden behind this farmland 36 flag here as well. Should we choose to not own the starting farm, we'll need to buy this if this is where we want to work. And we're going to need to do that for $1.4 million. That's why I'm going to be suggesting that if you're going to play this map, you do want to own the farm at the start. Because again, we have a pretty well equipped farm here. And we have several fields. With respect to the fields we own at the start, we start up owning fields 34, 35, 14, 15, 16, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, and 13. So quite a number of fields and farmland owned here at the start. This map, interesting enough, has 3 lakes, all marked with exclamation marks. One on farmland that we own at the start, and 2 over here in the northwest corner. With respect to crops, we do have all the standard crops available to us in Farm Sim 25 available on this map. And for those of you playing with precision farming, we do have the generic soil map that is a part of the precision farming mod. And we can see how that is being applied to the fields here on the map, where a lot of our starting fields are going to be a combination of loamy sand, sandy loam, and loam. With respect to the crop counter, we do have the standard FS25 crop counter available to us on this map. And we start out by owning multiple animal pastures, although we do not have any animals in them. We've got a cow barn, we have a pigsty, we have chicken pasture, sheep pasture, and then an additional cow pasture. With respect to contracts, we do have contracts available to us on this map, and they also include the new contracts in deadwood, rock removal, and wood transport. With respect to factories, there are 20 productions pre-placed on this map, several which we can buy, and a good number that we already own. We have the canning factory, carpentry, we have a cellar, which is going to be for our grapes. We have a cement factory, a flour mill, and we also have an oil mill, a paper factory, sawmill, sugar mill, and spinnery. Now, I skipped over the logistics center because it's simply storage. So it's going to be able to store pretty much anything that you can make on this map and output that. So it's a great place to store all of your excess productions, should you choose to hold up to them until they have the best possible price and then sell, sell, sell. As far as productions we own at the start, we start out by owning a pig feed mixer as well as a TMR mixer. We have a fermenting silo, a grass dryer, seed production. We have a greenhouse for rice saplings, as well as 2 regular greenhouses. With respect to sell points, while the description said there are 3, I've counted up 9, so you've got 3 times the number. And then in addition to collectibles, we do have 10 custom collectibles available on the map. They are cork bark, and I'll point out 1 or 2 during the tour. As far as our starting fleet, we do own machinery if we start by owning the farm. If we choose to not own the farm, the starting machinery is still there. So we're going to have this starting machinery in all game modes. With respect to our garage menu, we have the AGCO 8510 medium tractor, as well as the Kubota M8 201 and the Dudesfar AgriStar 8.31. We've got our International Series 200 pickup truck. We also have the Rudolph TDK 301 RP trailer. We have the Massey Ferguson MF Beta 7360 AL4 harvester, and this harvester is capable of maintaining its level across uneven land. For the harvester, we have a 25-foot free flow grain header and the Nardi N40BX header trailer. We've got the Anderson RBM 2000 round baler transport wagon and the Verapag V190XC Plus round baler. And we wrap it all up with the API 1600 water tanker. With respect to custom vehicles and implements on this map, we are looking at no custom vehicles or implements included. From our starting location, when we load up this map for the very first time, we're going to be able to kind of stroll our way into the starting farm. We've got olives and grapes on either side of the lane here. And while we're making our way into the starting farm area, I do want to list a little bit, or talk a little bit with respect to how this map performs on low-end systems. I would say if you are playing on a lower-end system, or you typically have issues with farm sim performance overall, this may not be the map for you. On my low-end system, which is using integrated AMD graphics, pretty much anything that's got dedicated discrete graphics is going to run much, much faster than this. I was seeing frame rates in the mid to low 30s, at most in the kind of mid 40s. Now, typically that wouldn't be too terribly bad, but there was a fair bit of kind of stuttering and hitching going on as it was loading in textures. Possibly once it had fully loaded in textures, things would have been better. But overall, I would say that you're going to be maybe having a little questionable performance on this map if you have kind of a more questionable powered system. Now we've made it to our farmyard. We have our farmhouse with our sleep and wardrobe trigger right on the inside. In addition, I found that I had issues selling most of the buildings here at the farm. I could sell the productions, I could sell the manure piles, but I couldn't sell the farm buildings otherwise. So just be a little cautious. If you are maybe thinking about customizing this farmyard, you may find that a little difficult. Out from our farmhouse, we do have our first factory production here. This is going to be our pig feed mixer, and we're going to be able to make pig feed from potatoes, corn, wheat, and canola. Got a nice shed here with some of our starting machinery. And then we also have a hayloft. So we're going to be able to store hay and straw here. And we have our output pipe under the shed. We got fuel storage. We'll go across the street here in a moment. We have our chicken coop. So we have our food dump point. We have our eggs and our chicken coop. 500 chickens overall can be in this coop, or around the area, I should say. We have our pigsty for a total of 250 pigs. And we are going to take water, food, and then we have our manure pile and our slurry point for our pigs. Again, I was able to sell the manure. The slurry was stuck. I wasn't able to figure out how to sell the animal building either. Here we have our TMR mixer. So for that, we're going to need hay, silage, straw, and mineral feed to make our TMR with this production. This is going to be not a hayloft. This is going to be our hay dryer. So, of course, grass in, hay out. That is a great product. So we've got that going there. We have our cow barn, 250 cows available for this location. We have our milk trigger. We have water trough. We have food. And then at the end of the building, again, we have our manure and our slurry point. Our seed mixer is going to be available right here. And we're going to be herbicide and wheat, which is then going to produce our seed. So we're dump point for both seed and herbicide. We have our output pipe. We have our farm silo. So we have our output here. And we have our dump point under our weigh station. With a nice water trigger here, conveniently for our animals. Complete with ducks, fish, and I believe I saw butterflies somewhere around here. Now let's make our way across the street. That's where we're going to find our greenhouses, as well as our fermenting silo. We have another fuel point. Bale storage for a total of 400 bales. Our fermenting silo with our dump point and our output point. We have three-sided silage bunker. Our greenhouse for rice saplings. And then our traditional greenhouses. Our water input, our interactive icon, and our pallet points. Now, as far as our cow pasture goes, it's actually not here at the main starting farm. It's over here at Farmland ID 40. And we're going to be good for 126 cows here with our food, our bale trigger, and our water trough. Now, I would suggest not putting milk-giving cows in this pasture because we don't appear to have a milk trigger in this particular location. So this is where we started. We have grapes and olives on either side of the lane as we come into the starting farm. And then, of course, all the fields that you see here are going to be part of our starting farmland. All the way up to this lake area. And then this is set up with a water pump. So this is a rice field ready for you to do any rice work. Fully functional. I like how that is been set up here with our pipe going up and over here to our lake. Kind of neat. Get a little bit of height here, and then we can really get a sense as to what our land is. So we went all the way over to this row of trees, this way to this road, and we make our way all the way around the road. Starting farm, our fields. And you know what? I believe I misspoke a bit. Because I believe our cow pasture that we actually own at the start, or intend to own at the start, is here in behind the silage bunker. I honestly don't think I saw this earlier until we were doing our flyover just now. So to that end, we also have an available pasture at farmland ID 40. Now, this is our sheep. How do we miss our sheep? I don't know. I guess I was too busy. So, 250 sheep. And we have our food. And we have our water. And no doubt our milk or wool are going to spawn under there. So there we have our sheep pasture. Now let's make our way down to the main street here. And then we'll make our way to the east. We have our vehicle dealership. Now, this vehicle dealership has several vehicles out for display. These are not usable vehicles, but they are very much full modeled vehicles, which could also compound your overall performance. As we've kind of mentioned already, this map is maybe a little suspect for lower end systems because of possibly all these vehicles being out here to shop or other things going on. Now the shop does have open and closing hours. So the shop does not open until 9 a.m. So if you come and want to sell vehicles or modify them prior to 9 a.m., these big bay doors will be shut. We do have our dealer trigger inside. So of course, once dealer opens, you'll have access to that. And then in order to purchase vehicles, your main dealer trigger is going to be located here around the front door. Now, thankfully, it looks like you're going to be able to buy things without the dealership technically being open because this trigger is on the outside of the building as opposed to being on the inside of these doors. So that's kind of nice in that we can buy things when the dealership is closed, but in order to sell or do any type of dealer maintenance, of course, we'll have to wait till they open up. New vehicles are going to spawn over here to the side of the dealership. Pretty decent sized area for vehicles to spawn, and a very decent sized entry and exit to the dealership with respect to getting your vehicles out and over to the farm, which is right up the street. If we continue to make our way east from the dealership, we're going to land over here to a grocery sell point. Continuing down the road, we're going to find our way over here to our canning factory. So, actually, we have a cooperative. This is going to be a sell point and then a buy point. So we have sell point here, misspoke, and this is going to be a buy point for various goods. Coming back up here, we're going to take a road right here to the north and up this way. We're going to come across to the next sell point. That's going to be the spinnery. So we have our cotton sell point here. And then we can purchase the spinnery as a production as well. Just up from the spinnery, we have our flour mill. So we have an interactive icon there. We have our dump point. Then we have our pallet spawn point. Continuing up the road. We have our canning factory. There we go. And our logistics center. So our canning factory is here. And then our logistics center is right on the other side. Continuing up the road, we have our oil mill. And now if we make our way kind of across the northern part of the map, got a bit of a forest up here. We're going to make our way to the large mill grain station. And we also have a buy point here as well to buy various goods. So that's going to be right there. We have our sawmill. Our dump point for our logs, our interactive icon, our pallet point, and our wood chip point. We have another lake here, and then as such, another rice field located right here. It's currently in corn, but we would have that capability should we wish to place a pump here. We have a biogas plant, which is going to be located down at 41. Sorry, kind of at the wrong spot for that at the moment. We have a farmer's market sell point. Another nice, quaint little lake area here. Little walking bridge. Little tunnel. Cool little detail there. We have our paper factory up here. As well as two other productions. So we have our debris crusher and our cement factory. So we're going to be able to get our stones from here for our cement factory, which is right around the corner. And we make our way down the western side of the map. So we're going to find our biogas plant. We have three-sided silage bunkers at the BGA. I was successful in selling the biogas building, but I was not successful in selling the bunkers or any of the other structures here at the BGA facility. You do need to buy the land in order to own this particular facility, and the BGA is going to cost $188,000 to buy farmland ID 41. For this point, we're going to make our way back east across this main road now. We have a dairy sell point. Pasture 40, which we've already taken a look at. We have a fuel point. We have a municipal market. And if we continue down along this road, we're going to come to our animal dealer. So we have our dump point for sell points. We've got our buy point for manure and slurry. Kate's just hanging out here. And we're going to find our animal trigger located here. We have our bale sell point. And then I promised to show some folks where they could find some corn or some cork bark. Are you okay if I go ahead and show them where to find some cork bark? You don't really care. All right, that's fine. So here you go. This is what you're looking for as far as a collectible. We have our cork bark located right there. And there are 9 more of those scattered around the map. So we made our way back up here to the main the main road. And again, there's the gate to the main farm. We have one more production to look at. That's right here beside the dealership. And this is going to be the cellar. So this is going to be where we're going to be able to make our grape juice. So we have our dump point. We have our interactive point there. And our pallets should spawn along the side of the building. Maybe. They're not really marked out, right? Maybe they're going to spawn inside of here. Who knows? Any rate, folks, that is Portugal South. Pretty nice, interesting map. Lots of variety, lots of production, and, well, lots of farmland owned at the start. We don't see too many farms where we start out with olives, grapes, let alone having a field of rice ready to go. And that we have here. All we have to do is plant our rice, and off to the races we are. Let me know your thoughts down in the comments below with respect to Portugal South. Is this a map you see yourself playing on? If not, maybe why? Curious. What are the things you look for in a map as far as your next gameplay goes? And until next time, happy farming.